Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday. I did turn on my mic this time. Although I'm told my voice carries and that I don't need a mic. That is what I have heard on the internet. Huh? Well, they didn't say I was quiet, nor did they say I was loud. They said my voice carries. Hey, Kitty, how are you tonight? Good to have you here. Great to have you here live tonight on Terrific Tuesday. How are you tonight? Sorry I'm running late. My phone's been busy today. How is your Tuesday? Hey, Adele, how are you? Good to have you here on Terrific Tuesday. Oh, I got to grab one thing. Hang on one second, folks. Since we're going to talk numbers, I probably should have the calculator. Hello, I am coming back, folks. Here I am. Here I am. Luann, how are you? Good to have you here. Dennis, congratulations. I hear we're dressing you in cutie pink. Congratulations, Dennis. And to Judy. Most importantly, that's so exciting. You know, it's a roller coaster, Kitty. Hey, Kelly, it's a roller coaster. It is. Hey, Patty is here. Patty Johnson. Hello, Erica. Again, it feels like deja vu. It feels like I was just talking to you. It is a roller coaster, Kitty. Dazzle is napping. So is Max. I wish I had a picture of Max to show you. Max is like curled up on top of a chair in between two pillows. Max is out. But it's a roller coaster. It's a crazy time. And you know, again, you have to turn off the news, quite honestly. And Massachusetts was a big news day because they're, you know, rolling back things today and announcing different things. Oh, it's my pleasure, Erica. It was truly a pleasure to speak with you. Yes, it is cold. That's actually what I've been working on today. I ended out spending most of my day chasing down, what was it, the August? When did we have the NARTS conference? Because that's when I started all my telephone wire problems out at the street. Things they can't get up my driveway, which includes propane delivery, so that we can't get more heat to one side of the house. But that's, I digress. But it's a roller coaster. So, you know, today was busy with clothing, which I thought would have been busy yesterday, and slow in decor. So you can't, you know, my end of day report from my home store was slow, like so slow, like tortoise slow, like slower than the tortoise. And it went on from there. Yeah, August 3rd, I've been fighting with this to get it done today, and today I pulled out the big guns, so we'll see how far I get with that. But I'm ready to get a chainsaw and just cut the wire so they can get up my driveway. It's not going to. Doesn't have power, so it's not going to be. I'm not going to get electrocuted doing it. I might cut something else off, but. Right, and it doesn't affect my phone, so. But hey, you know, it's either that or that side of the house over there doesn't have heat. I have an old house, so I have part oil heat and part propane heat. So they can get the oil truck up the driveway because that's shorter, but the propane truck is bigger. So we'll see. shall see how that works. But that's a different one. But we are on a roller coaster. 51 degrees in Florida. Whoa! It was 28 here, Pat, when I was raising holy you-know-what with people today when they couldn't deliver propane. I'm sorry that it's so cold there, but I am glad that it is stimulating your sales in Florida and that those Floridians know they're going to need sweaters and jackets. That's smart. Hello to you and the Peanut Gallery. Glad to have you both here tonight. I'm glad to have everybody here tonight. It is a good night on this Tuesday night. So let's get things started here. What do I got going on? Let's get the Good Morning, Good Night book up here so we can get going tonight. We start every night on the program, every night, with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start every night. If you are following along in the book tonight, oh my, this is a big one. We are on page 14 tonight. Good morning. Before you let the world in, make a little space for yourself. Cup of coffee, tidy the counter, morning quiet, savor the best part of that dream you had for one more second. Whew! Okay, have at it, world. That is your good morning tonight, whatever time it is. It is morning somewhere, just like it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It is good. I liked this quote. So my quote of the night, or my first quote of the night is, people don't fear change. People fear sudden change. People fear revolutions. People don't fear evolutions. Think about that for a moment. People don't fear change. People fear sudden change. People fear revolutions. People don't fear evolutions. There you go, folks. Okay, I got a little bit of news to cover, and then I'm going to get into, I promised you that this week that we would talk about budgeting for the new year, and because several of you have reached out to talk budgets, and this is going to end out being a multi-night topic that we will cover and reiterate probably over several nights, because it's more than one flip of the switch or one little trick. So we're gonna need to break it down a little bit. But I wanted to update you on a few things that are happening in the world. From a news perspective, nothing too earth-shattering, but just a couple of quick news bites. Stitchfix shares are soaring as its revenue beats expectations. That headline caught me by surprise. I was really surprised that Stitchfix has had 10% year-over-year growth in its active client base. And while net revenue per client fell 4% to $467, they actually made money for the first time with a net income of $9.5 million versus a $178,000 loss a year ago. So that kind of surprised me because of the way people are dressing relaxed and everything else, or barely dressing now. That was good for Stitch Fix, but I think it forced them to profitability, to cut where they could cut and move forward. So that was kind of interesting. Hey, Alan Didion, great to have you here tonight. So happy to have you with us. Hope you and Mike are well. We talked about catalogs the other night, and the good old days of the Dream Book and the Sears catalog and the Penny's catalog and the Montgomery Ward catalog and all the stores having their catalogs. And After 70 years, Ikea is halting the production of their catalog. Yes, yes, the catalog will be no more. And it's ending it in both print and digital. You won't even be able to get a digital version of their old catalog. I heard that, Rose. You better get yourself a sweater and a jacket. Maybe two. There's a store for that. Hop into the safari. But great to have you here, Rose. Back in 1951, the founder of IKEA, Ingvar Kamprad, produced it himself. And they've grown it to serve billions of people over the years. And now, their goal is to be more accessible. So the catalog was less accessible. I don't know. I still like the Dream Book. I still like, but I'm so old-fashioned that I still get a newspaper delivered in print. Also good news for the fashion industry. Fashion has taken a beating as what people have been wearing and everything. And this one also surprised me, right up there with Stitchfix. Wedding dress demand is resilient, even as COVID has forced smaller celebrations. So the CEO of David's Bridal says wedding dress demand has been resilient during the COVID. And if you remember, David's Bridal filed bankruptcy a few years ago. I think it's like 2 years ago now, maybe 3. And one of their things that they did coming out of bankruptcy was invest heavily in digital, and that has been paying off for them in spades in the pandemic. And they're launching, again, we've talked about this before with other retailers, loyalty programs, and David's is launching one on Tuesday, which allows customers to earn rewards.
How many times are people getting married?
Well, hey, I am not making a statement of how many times people are getting married. They're celebrating. Remember, I offer every night to go to a wedding, a bar mitzvah. Okay? People are celebrating. My peanut gallery is having problems with this. David's Bridal is offering rewards points. You too can have a frequent wedding gown. I don't know. People like to play dress up, I guess. I don't know why you need a David's Bridal. They sell fancy gowns too, to events that people aren't going to. But there is an inaugural ball coming up in about a month, so maybe people need fancy dresses for that. But I heard Zach likes to wear Rachel's gown from the wedding. I don't know why, but there have been supposed sightings of him wearing his new bride's gown, just to make sure it gets more than one use. Ellen is with you guys, though. Ellen is like, what the heck? Ellen and Adele are both like, why do you need rewards points? Well, and they have a name for the smaller... yes, the dress is the last nice part of a wedding you can still have. Well, and it's called a mini moni. So a small wedding is a mini moni. No, Kelly, if I get invited to the inauguration, which I am not expecting, I am, especially with how outspoken I have been this week, I don't think that's going to win me an invite. But I would not wear a dress from David's. Okay? They do have nice dresses, but I would not wear one, Kelly. I still have the tux from my wedding, and it still fits. I'm just saying. Okay. There was a chuckle there from the peanut gallery. And it's still in style. Okay, my peanut gallery, hang on a second. Let me just see if it talks about their brand loyalty. Okay, the loyalty program with rewards that range from a free bouquet to a honeymoon in Jamaica. David's Bridal hopes the rewards will nudge customers to spend more and recommend it to others. Couples get coupons for signing up. They can collect points for all purchases that are linked to their wedding. So all the bridesmaids, the mother of the brides, etc. To a dress worn by a wedding guest. And customers can also redeem rewards that aren't related to weddings if they shop at David's for other kinds of dresses, such as for a college graduation or a girls' night out. We really want to own all of the dresses in her closet, not just the bridal gown. And they're kicking this off during a key season. About 40% of all engagements take place between December 6th and Valentine's Day, according to industry research. Harry Styles wears dresses. Thank you, Kitty. But I don't think I'm going to pull off a dress. Okay. And if I was going to pull off a dress for the inauguration, I would buy it from a resale store. There you go. Okay. Hang on, I got a couple more things, then we'll get into budgets. With all the holiday shopping this year, and we've talked about it, that it's real. People are buying real and tangible things. Somebody might buy themselves a pink calculator, okay, because Dennis is going to be wearing a lot of pink now with his granddaughter on the way. But, they may redo the whole store in pink. But whatever you buy, over $70.5 billion worth of online purchases that are coming for holiday gifts is expected to be returned this year. So over $70 billion. And there is a whole reverse logistics being planned for all of this. And they have seized huge and rented huge amount of space. To recover, and there will be a huge amount of return items hitting the market in a reverse logistics stance. Think those pallet hoarders. New York City is considering a bill, and I don't think this is actually going to go anywhere, okay? But it is interesting to even be considered as a bill. They are considering an online shopping fee from the pandemic. It's actually a bill that is being considered in New York City, okay, in the city of New York, is subject all online shopping to a $3 per box charge, with the exception of necessities including food, medicine, and diapers. Okay, I don't think it'll go anywhere. Some of the backlash, and this is to fill the hole in the transportation budget in New York City, okay, because people aren't using the buses and subways, but you still have to maintain all that stuff, even though they aren't being used like they are normally. So they are expecting a $16 billion deficit for the metropolitan area of New York City through 2024 over the next 3 years. And so they are looking at ways to plug that. And this is one of their ideas, is a $3 per box tax, which they estimate would generate, hang on a second, how much per year? Yeah, and online does charge taxes now. The proposal in New York City would generate an extra $1.5 billion a year. Yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. Yes, I agree with you. And again, I don't think it's going anywhere. I just thought it was an interesting proposal or interesting look at things. Um, you know, one of the answers to it was that they should the transportation workers said a delivery surcharge will encourage consumers to consolidate multiple items into a single box. And others are like, let's just tax the wealthy corporations. So it's a whole conversation that I don't think is going anywhere, except for that I think it's interesting to think about. Because and there's going to be a lot more of these types of discussions as cities and towns are grappling with huge budget holes that are created by numerous things. Gasoline taxes fund highways and roads and all these things. So people aren't buying as much gasoline and driving as much right now. So there's a huge problem with budgets for states, cities, towns, and they're going to be looking for creative ways to fill that. So just keep that in mind. I got to give kudos to our friends in Texas here. They are going to distribute the COVID rapid tests to small businesses. Hey, Nebraska Angie. So Texas is Division of Emergency Management is giving local chambers of commerce testing supplies that will be allocated to small businesses so that small businesses can test their employees free of charge and keep their employees safe. I thought this was a good way of getting it out there quickly and getting to people and where the issues are. And speaking of which, I heard from one of my friends today in traditional retail, and I'm not going to describe his politically correct isn't the right thing. Not even overly touchy-feely. I'm not sure. I'm at a loss for the right word. But his store is in an area that is very sensitive, I guess, maybe. Okay, so he had someone test positive for COVID. And that freaked out all the other employees in his store. My guess is one employee started this, but he's in an area that is very politically and emotionally sensitive. I'm really not using the right word. But it forced him, okay, so people that had not been everybody wears masks. They clean all the time. They sanitize. They have everything. They do their best for distancing. But they had what do you call it? So this one person tested positive, okay? He had people that had not worked with this person, ever worked with this person, okay? Or anybody that was on the shifts prior with that person want to get tested. So basically they had to test everybody in the store, everybody that worked for his store, okay? So that's your first problem. Then they insisted that he get it deep cleaned, the store have a deep cleaning, okay? And his store is not huge. It's a good-sized store. Probably 5,000 to 7,000 square feet, okay? Maybe 8, okay? I forget how big this store is. He had to have it deep cleaned, okay? Any guesses on how much the deep cleaning cost, having a professional company come in? Hang on a second. Any guesses? So besides being closed for 2 days to get everybody tested, which is actually pretty good, and to have the store deep cleaned, any guesses on how much the deep cleaning cost? For a 5 to 7,000 square foot store. $5,000 is what Kitty guessed. That you must have heard that from my peanut gallery. That's what they guessed. Any other guesses? Any other guesses on this deep cleaning for this store? That is regularly sanitized and regularly cleaned, and that this deep cleaning probably isn't going to save anybody from the disease. I mean, I appreciate the concept, but they were doing everything, and, you know, somebody's still going to get sick. Yes, Kelly. Kelly is much closer. The actual Kelly came in at 10 grand. The actual cost was $9,200. $9,200 to have his store deep cleaned. Yeah, so all of that. So, you know, needless to say, he's not a happy camper with that bill. And, you know, it's just another cost of the pandemic as we work our way through this. And lastly, you know, as far as what's happening on Capitol Hill, it is a fluid situation, but it's an important situation. So if you have, yes, that is crazy, Kim. I agree. And he thinks it's crazy, and he is not a happy camper. Not a happy camper. Because you can't do that every time, okay? You can't do it once, okay? As a business, you really can't do it once, much less multiple times. This quote unquote deep cleaning. I mean, it is not sustainable. It is not doable. It is just not something that is realistic. So, you know, it is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't have all the right answers from that, but that, you know, 10 grand is or $9,200 is ridiculous. Slightly below 10 grand. Maybe it was 10 grand, but he got a discount for paying immediately. Yeah, the virus was dead anyways in there. So I agree with you, Kim, and you know, so it's not backed by the fear. You got to keep in mind that fear isn't backed by science. Okay? And the things that you have to do to mitigate fear, which is what he was doing, okay? He was not having everyone in the store that worked for his company tested. Having the store deep cleaned mitigated fear. Okay, it was an expensive price to pay to mitigate fear, both in dollars and you know, time, and it can happen again tomorrow. Okay, it can happen again tomorrow. So you could have the, you know, I mean, we have a toilet at one location that actually goes, the main toilet, the main pipe for the entire plaza goes underneath that toilet, and it gets clogged, and they have to bring in the super drain guys. Okay, the plaza does it. It's not our responsibility. But they bring in these super drain guys, and, you know, most of the time it's a few times a year, but lately it's been every couple weeks they've had to do it. But they've done it because nobody wants to dig up this whole huge section and redo it, okay? So they do it and take this expense. Yeah, the authorities should be guided by science, but if you're going to have everybody walk out on you and quit, I mean, it's partly where he is, but this is some of what small businesses are facing. And that's why he shared this story with me today, and he actually went into a lot of detail. I'd read the whole story to you, but it would scare you more. And he's a really good guy. He's a really, I mean, yeah, it totally could, because Rose, you're right. He's mitigating fear, but this could happen again. You know, what do you do the next time? Okay, this disease is going to be with us for a while. And one of the discussions, I've been on the phone, I know that fear and everybody in business, because my phone has been all day today. So in between me working on the wire, I have been fielding calls from people all day long in a variety of businesses, okay, with different fears and different concerns. But you can't, you don't want to scare people away. You want to do what's safe. You want to do what's safe, and you want to be safe and sensible, and you want to follow the science, okay? But, you can't do these things and still have a roof over your head, okay, and still be in business and still maintain that. You can't handle an extra 10 grand in costs on top of all the other costs. You got to keep in mind all the incremental costs that you've had during this pandemic have been huge. And I've had so many, truly unbelievable amounts of conversations today with businesses of all shapes and size. I've had conversations with, huge multi-tenant, millions of square feet landlords today that called me for help, to you guys, everybody here. It's been a day, and so you have to keep fear in check, okay? And you have to keep hope, okay? And the understanding. One of the big things that I want to keep on reminding you, and right, exactly, Kitty. Supplies are up 50%. Easily up 50%. That's easy. It's crazy what you pay for supplies. Right, and doing your mask, doing what's right to keep everybody safe, okay, but also being sensible, so being realistic, so, because you can't do that, okay. But you have to keep that within check. Okay, and that's how we get to it. But one of the biggest fears that is roosting with people right now, that is starting to come to roost, okay, is that when you flip the calendar at the end of this month, 2021 does not make everything better. When we flip the calendar to 2021, it does not instantly make everything better. And I had somebody, everything's going to be fine by June. I'm like, June 2025, everything's going to be fine. And he's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm realistic. And here's why I said that to him. Okay, when I said June 2025, I said, not because I expect this, to us all be still doing this in 5 years at where we are with this, but if you're conceptually, okay, think of all the people that think that everything's going to be fine because 2020 is over, okay, and we're on to 2021, okay. If you know that you're going to have to fight this for 5 more years, your mind is in a much better place than somebody that thinks that this is over at the end of December. Okay, or that thinks this is going to be over in June. It might not be over in June. I think we're going to make great progress next year. I think the vaccines are going to show huge promise and are going to be very good. Okay, but getting people to show up for a vaccine once is hard enough. We do that every year with the flu vaccine. Now you need people to show up once, get it, and then show up again in 3 weeks to get it again. And at this time, it's only going to get approved for adults, not for children. So you have that aspect. So there's not a perfect mix with this, that this will be over in May or June. I'm hopeful that we're a little bit more normal at next school year, but I don't know that now. So if I'm thinking everything will be fine in 5 years, that puts me in a better place mentally that I'm prepared to go for the long haul. Okay? And that is where you need to be. Yeah, I mean, we need to help people through that, okay? Because again, it all starts up here. How we work and how we get forward all starts up here. It is all, the virus is real, but how we deal with it, how we approach it, how we run our businesses, where our mindset is, where our positive outlook is, all starts up here. Okay. It's getting late, but I did promise to start the budget conversation tonight. So I just want to get that out here a little bit. Okay? Because working on a 2021 budget has very little to do with 2020, and that's very unusual. Okay? It's completely unusual. And quite honestly, not to be government on you who can't put a budget together, but working on a budget for 2021 is really kind of hard. I can't say that it's fair to work on a budget for the entire year of 2021. And that's not because all of 2021 isn't going to happen. Okay? Because 2021 is going to happen and you're going to be a part of it. Okay? You are going to be a part of that. Okay? But from a planning perspective, and again, being realistic, I think we need to work on the first quarter and have that as our starting point for our 2021 budget. Because we don't have the visibility beyond that. And we don't even have a perfect crystal ball for the first quarter. But we're going to take our first attempt at a budget by looking at the first quarter and not try to plan the whole year. Okay? And how are we going to plan that? Well, we need to look at your numbers since you reopened. Is how we're going to start to plan that. And when you look at your numbers over the period that you have been reopened and look at it in whole months it is best. Okay? We want to look at your run rate, okay, during that period of time for both sales and expenses. So for simple purposes, let's say you were open from July in whole months through December. Or in this, actually November, because that's what we have full data for. So July through November, which is 5 months. We want to look at your run rate, okay, versus last year at the same time. So the first part of your homework is to look at the months since you've been opened. Is my peanut gallery making notes for me? Okay, we want to look at the months. This is being recorded. We want to look at the months since you've been open, okay, in whole months. For example, July through November. And we want to compare that for both sales and expenses, okay, to your run rate from 2019. What do I mean by run rate? Thank you for asking. I mean, are your sales for those 5 months, okay, running at 80% of last year? Are they running at 120% of last year? Are they running at 60% of last year? Where are they running for that period of time cumulatively, okay, that 5-month period? Because again, this is a roller coaster. You've had incredible highs, incredible lows during this. So let's take a look at the run rate you're actually running at, and let's take a look at that for expenses. So that is the first part of your homework, to pull those numbers for the months that you have, the full month since you've been reopened through November. And then we'll look at extrapolating that into 2019. Then I'd also like you to look at, so the second set of numbers that I'd like you to get, or the second and third set of numbers, is your sales and expenses for the first 3 months of 2020 and 2019. 2020 and 2019. And we will talk about how we all put this together. We will pink calculator it. We'll be talking about this for several nights. And we will work on putting together a 2021 budget, because 2021 is going to happen. And you are going to be a part of it. You know what else happens? This video and everything I talk about here, all the resources I talk about, go over to narts.org/resalestrong by noon the very next day. Noon, all the resources, everything I talk about, noon the very next day. It's all there, including a direct link to the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store, where you can like, comment, subscribe, click the bell so you know when a new one drops. By noon the very next day. It's there to keep you organized, to make it nice and easy for you to be able to find everything, and so you can easily share it all with everybody you know in business, because we got to get everybody to the other side. Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, landlord, podiatrist, phone company. I don't care who they are. We're going to get them all to the other side of this. Hey, Michelle is here. Jennifer's here. Sorry I missed you tonight, Michelle, but you were doing important jobs. Somebody had to take out the trash. I will catch up with you tomorrow. I am here every night in the Narts private Facebook group at More 8 Than Ish. More 8 Than Ish every night, live in the Narts private Facebook group. If you have a question in between, you just email me, Neil, N-E-I-L, at ECIstores.com. Neil at ECIstores.com. Make sure you include your phone number so I can give you a ring back, even if you're taking out the trash. I will be back here. We start this program every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program every night. Tonight we are on page 14. If you were not here at the top of the program, our good morning is, good morning. Before you let the world in, make a little space for yourself. A cup of coffee, tidy the counter, morning quiet. Savor the best part of that dream you had for one more second. Whew! Okay, have at it, world. Our good night tonight is, good night. Before you turn the world down, make a little space for yourself. Brush your teeth. Tidy the counter. Put down the phone. Put down the phone. Savor the best part of the day for one more second. Whew! Okay, have at it, dreams. And type our homework so I remember. Also, for any else that had wine. I haven't had wine, but I do smell dinner. Rebecca made dinner tonight. And I will work on a homework sheet too. My peanut gallery helped out and made a list of what I said that people should do. Because, you know, I'm about to have dinner and maybe I will have that glass of wine since Kim suggested it. But hey, folks, I am Neil Abramson and I do like a glass of wine. I do. I do like a good party, a wedding, a bar mitzvah, an inauguration that people can wear a fancy dress from David's Loyalty Club, David's Bridal Loyalty Club. Not me, but some people. Huh? A gender reveal party. I don't know. We had that yesterday. The schools had that yesterday. A girl, just saying. For those of you that, spoiler. I will be back here tomorrow night at More 8 Than Ish. But until then, know that you and you, but most importantly you, yes, Yes, you. You're not alone running this store. I'll see you tomorrow night, everybody. It's time for dinner.